Live from the Sky News Weather Centre, this is the 10-minute briefing.
10 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Thanks for your company here on Sky News Weather. You're joining us live now for the 10-minute briefing. I'm Samantha Chiari, joined by our Chief Meteorologist, Tom Saunders.
And on the briefing today, big storm outbreak for New South Wales. We'll get the latest forecast of where we'll see the severe storms today. Plus, we have a developing tropical cyclone over northern WA. We'll also discuss some heat returning to southeastern Australia.
Speaking of which, let's take a look at the current temperatures across the nation, Tom. It's been a warm one in southeast Queensland. Brisbane already sitting on 27.5 degrees.
Yeah, another hot one for Queensland, a heat wave there. Northern New South Wales, no cool change for you. Burke Moree climbing above 40. We finally saw that subtly hitting Sydney on Tuesday evening, 21 degrees the current temperature, and Melbourne on 19.1 degrees. Now, Sam, we've got to go back and have a look at these radars through New South Wales and the ACT. Severe storms through the central west yesterday, Condobolin, Parks, Forbes, they all had gusts over 90 kilometres per hour. And these were supercell storms just to the west of Canberra. You can count them. There's at least 3 supercells there. One of those storms moved just over the northern parts of Canberra, but thankfully the CBD of Canberra was spared from the worst of the weather. But then we had an organised band of storms moving through the Illawarra. Notice the pink echoes on the radar indicating very heavy rainfall, even a little bit of hail, and then moving through the southern parts of Sydney. But I think the main feature from those storms, because of that fast movement, was the wind. We had gusts now at 122 kilometres per hour, and Watamolla, Royal National Park, 113 kilometres per hour.
And I'm sure there would have been flight delays at Sydney Airport. You recorded a wind gust of 91 kilometres per hour. Also, Tom, in the height of these storms, 11,000 homes were without power.
Yeah, the storms struck. They were vicious, weren't they? Here's some shots from them. Sydney Harbour was lit up yesterday, and we had a spectacular shelf cloud moving through the southern suburbs of Sydney late afternoon, early evening. Not a huge amount of rain for Sydney, about 10 millimetres was the top fall, but some other parts of the state, we've got some good falls. Cootamundra, 27 millimetres by 9 o'clock this morning. Mount Seaview in the north, 50 millimetres of rain.
A lot of people flocking to social media, uploading videos and images. Hashtag Sydney Storm. That shelf cloud was absolutely phenomenal to look at across Tuesday afternoon and evening.
And some damage from the wind, some large trees coming down.
Yeah, particularly Western Sydney, Tom, I believe, was the worst affected from those severe thunderstorms which tore through parts of New South Wales. Now, this is off the back of what we did see over 40 millimetres around the Sydney Basin to 9 a.m. Tuesday. We did have those very early thunderstorms, a rumbling of thunder as we were arriving here at work yesterday morning.
It's been a stormy start to 2018 for New South Wales, and not many other parts of southern Australia have picked up any meaningful rainfall so far this year, so it really has been the exception. Let's get to the forecast rain for today. We're not expecting storms for central and southern New South Wales. It's all over. We've had that southerly change, and that has swept out the warmth, the humidity, but we still have warm, humid conditions in northeast New South Wales. There's the forecast rain. You can see the northern ranges. That's where we'll get the storms today. They are likely to be severe, and also attacking on the southern part of the Darling Downs.
Yeah, so another stormy end to the afternoon and evening across parts of New South Wales. Our attention has shifted towards the north, as Tom just mentioned. Now, the other major talking point here at Sky News Weather, Tom, is the intense heat that is continuing to grip northern New South Wales, southern and western Queensland. You are in a heat wave at the moment.
They are up to day 5 for northern New South Wales, and many parts of Queensland have climbed above 40 every single day so far this year, so ongoing heat. Now, we talked about the storms. They're developing along the trough. That trough is also the boundary between the hot air to the north and the colder air to the south. Let's have a look then at the temperatures as we move through today. So you can see the southerly, but it's stalled around the mid-north coast. Now, it'll push slightly further north into Thursday, so Brisbane will drop a couple of degrees, but hot weather, 40 plus that deep red shading through the inland part of New South Wales and Queensland, and the darkest red, Sam, shows temperatures even climbing over 45 degrees through the central interior. And note the wind direction, the northerly airstream will develop over southeastern Australia over the next 48 hours.
Yeah, and then our attention will be shifting towards the south once again. Another burst of very hot weather is forecast across parts of South Australia, New South Wales and Victoria.
But it won't last long. By Friday, 4 p.m, there's the westerly change. It's already gone through Adelaide. It'll hit Friday morning, hitting Melbourne late in the afternoon and Hobart overnight. So a short burst of heat returning to the southeast around Thursday and Friday. For the capitals, it won't be as hot as last week. Melbourne hit 43 last week. Forecast to hit 33, 34 degrees this week.
Tom, Friday is looking like a very busy day here at Sky News Weather. We also will be tracking our tropical low, which is hitting northern parts of WA. Still a bit of model uncertainty on this one. It may form now into a tropical cyclone this evening in the early hours of Thursday morning. Talk us through it.
It's a good chance, actually, because it is popping off the coast just now. This is some model data looking at the forecast track of that low. It's heading west at the moment at 11 kilometres per hour. It's forecast to make a left-hand turn and then head south towards the far west Kimberley coastline. Too early to say exactly when it will hit the coast, but more than likely it will be sometime on Friday. And the Bureau right now have it intensifying tomorrow into a Cat 2 and then into a Cat 3 before making landfall. Now, Sam, it is actually possible it will never become a cyclone. It's not likely. It's only a slight chance. But if it was to stay on a more eastward track, just inland from Broome, well, it will just remain as a tropical low and bring heavy rainfall. But more than likely, we will have a cyclone, probably developing at some point later on Wednesday. As a result, cyclone warning has been issued. The red shading from Koori Bay to Wall Downs, that includes Broome. That area in the red could see gale force winds in the next 24 hours. Now, today, nothing above damaging. Destructive winds, gusting over 125 kilometres per hour, could develop on Thursday if the cyclone is close enough to the coast and if it does intensify.
And if it does form into a cyclone, it will be called Tropical Cyclone Irving.
Irving, okay, that's next on the list. So we're up to I on the list. Irving's the one, and this is the second system to make landfall, if it does, already this season, and they've both been in exactly the same spot, just off that coast of Broome.
So it's looking like a dangerous 24 hours ahead in terms of if that cyclone does or does not form off that north coast of WA. Stay tuned. In 60 seconds, we've had extreme weather hitting parts of the United States. We'll tell you where shortly.
Okay, so interestingly they said the next one will be named Irving, but actually I think it's going to be Joyce, because Irving was a very sneaky boy and he formed out in the Indian Ocean, way out in the Indian Ocean, way out past Cocos Island, on the 6th of January. So 4 days ago, right at the start of the day. So that's Irving. He's still going actually. He's still a Category 1 hurricane equivalent. I've only been able to track Irving through the American site Weather Underground and the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Joyce is 58. If you add up the letters according to their place in the alphabet, Joyce has a value of 58. And so does the name Nathan. And Nathan's one of the boys who I have made my weather predictions with Nathan in mind. That's Nathan Breeze from Kinglake West in Victoria, who was one of the victims of the Black Saturday bushfires. So one of Australia's worst disasters. 5 plus 8 is 13, and Nathan was 13 years old. Jake, the other boy who I've connected to Nathan, because I think they both had the same kind of personality. They were both pranksters, both practical jokers, both like Irving, and Nathan was 13, Jake was 11. They both died tragically. Jake was abducted and murdered by some guy named Danny Heinrich, and Nathan died in a bushfire. So they both died tragic deaths and died too young, and I've come to think they're connected. And somewhere out there in this weird universe, they may actually be together. So 5 plus 8, the value of Nathan's name, and the value of Joyce, plus 11, which is Jake's age, lands you on 69. And 69 is the value of Red Rain, which is a book by R.L. Stine, the children's horror writer, R.L. Stine, author of Goosebumps. And this book was written for adults, but it involves 12-year-old identical twins. Now, identical twins were, in this old island culture, believed to be able to control the weather. So Daniel and Samuel are the twins, and they are victims of a hurricane. And yeah, the way I found this book was strange, to say the least, because it was Halloween 2015, and I had just written Red Rain equals 69. I just added that to my list for the first time. And 2 hours later I was at the Queanbeyan Library, and this book just happened to be sitting there on the shelf. And I look up and I see it, and I'm like, kidding me. So I picked it up and looked at it. Eventually I borrowed it. And even the number on this book, which if I bring it up like this, you might be able to see it. So the barcode, 90-233-6587. Jake was a missing person at the time when I found this book. Missing equals 90. Jacob Erwin Wetterling equals 233. My surname Kelly equals 65. Birthday equals 87. So even the barcode is coincidental in a strange way. So the value of Nathan's name, the value of Joyce, plus Jake's age is 69, the value of Red Rain, the value of Riley. I actually think Riley's going to be the 10th cyclone this season for Australia, and the second last one. I think there's going to be 11 cyclones this season. And the number 69, the value of Riley, can represent the date, the 6th of the 9th, the 6th of September. 6 plus 9 is 15, and I know someone who turned 15 on the 6th of September 2017. 1 plus 5 is 6. And he was born on the 6th. And he was the boy who told me that Wetterling means weather child, and that's Jake's last name, Wetterling. Breeze, Nathan's last name, is a gentle wind. And Irving, both boys were known for being practical jokers and pranksters. And Irving, when I saw the name Irving a few months ago, I thought of that boy. The boy who told me that Wetterling means weather child. And that's because he spent time in Germany as a boy, so he knew German. And he knew that Wetter is German for weather. Ling is like duckling, little one. Irving, yes, it was the next name on the list, but he's been a sneaky boy and he's gone under the radar. And even at the Weather Channel, they don't know Irving has already happened, or is still happening. Irving's still a Category 1 hurricane equivalent, so definitely still a tropical cyclone. And here's when I think Irving's going to come. Joyce and Nathan both equal 58. And today, Wednesday the 10th of January, 2018, plus 58 days, the value of Joyce, who I think will form today, because this fits so perfectly, given that Friday 9th of March, 2018, is my best friend's birthday, and that is my best friend who got barred from Australia by Immigration and Border Protection. And that's why in some of my videos I sort of suggest that maybe this prophecy is a message against the nastiness of that government department and Peter Dutton. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's 58 days from today. Joyce equals 58. Nathan equals 58. Wednesday, 10th of January 2018, plus 58 days, equals Friday, 9th of March 2018. The value of calendar, the value of Joyce, the value of Nathan. And Riley, unless there's another storm that comes into Australian waters from elsewhere, like Dahlia did, Riley will be the 10th cyclone of the season. And I think there'll be one more after Riley, and that will be Savannah. Savannah may even happen at the same time as Riley. So that's my prediction. Now for the rest of the 10-minute briefing.
You're back with us live on the 10-minute briefing. Tom and I were talking about this shelf cloud. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm just getting so excited by these images.
Who wouldn't laugh at a cloud like that? Nah, that looks spectacular. I think that's probably just off the coast of Sydney there. Yeah, shelf clouds.
That's Bondi Beach there.
That's Bondi, you would know.
Yeah,
they develop in the gust front of a storm. So you know when a storm's approaching and you get that burst of wind first, that burst of wind, as it starts to rise and pick up some moisture from the surface, it leads to that horizontal low cloud.
It's a spectacular shot there.
I could look at shelf clouds all day.
Me too. That is phenomenal. Look at the waters as well.
I like that colour, aqua.
Amazing.
Beautiful stuff. Okay, no more shelf clouds today though for Sydney. Maybe you'll see one in Tamworth, Armidale, Glen Innes, Tenterfield, New England.
No more for Sydney though.
No.
For at least a couple of days.
Well, tomorrow storms will actually return to the central and southern ranges, and they may creep towards the western parts of Sydney. No, that's possible.
Yeah, we've had the chance of showers and storms pretty much every day this week in Sydney. We'll be keeping you posted how that unfolds. I'll have more on that in my capital city report shortly. For the time being though, we're taking you to the United States now. In the wake of those dangerous wildfires that are gripping parts of California, we've now had torrential downpours and mudslides.
In California, the rain has started, and so has the concern. Wet weather is now saturating the hillsides left blackened and bare by last year's historic wildfires. This morning, mandatory and voluntary evacuations are in effect for parts of Los Angeles and Ventura counties, including this neighborhood east of LA, where heavy rains caused these mudslides a year ago. Today's downpour could cause a similar scene, with soil washing away from the bedrock since there's no vegetation left to hold it in place. Some schools just reopened for the first time since last month's fires, and now families are forced to hit the road again.
I mean, look at the hill. There's nothing slowing it down.
People are getting ready by filling up sandbags.
Water will come down my street, and my fear is it coming up and over the sidewalk into my front yard and into my front door.
It all comes as the cost for weather-related disasters reaches a record high, $306 billion in the U.S. in 2017. In the east, frigid temperatures making it dangerous for drivers on the road in Georgia, where one person was killed in a 4-car crash. And in Tennessee, boom! Did you miss him? Slick roads forcing cars to bounce uncontrollably off barriers and even other vehicles. And in North Carolina, this is how alligators survive freezing water, patiently waiting for the thaw. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
That was incredible. What was that?
Do you think the crocodile was still alive?
Surely not. Aren't they warm-blooded, aren't they?
Well, he said patiently waiting.
Maybe waiting for a few hundred years.
She insinuated he was still alive.
Maybe.
If it was a he.
Maybe poking their head out to get some sun. So that was due to that cold weather. Sorry. I wasn't expecting that to come up at the end of that California package.
No, it's been a year of extreme, or not a year of extremes, but a couple of months of extreme weather across California.
Yeah, well, that ice is now melted, though, because they've got warmer weather now in the eastern USA. So hopefully we can get another shot and we'll find out if the alligator's alive or not.
Oh, wow. Phenomenal images there. Okay, well, severe weather isn't really hitting you in Queensland today.
No frozen alligators or crocodiles, of
And
course.
no storms.
Yeah,
apart
yeah.
from that
There'll be some.
far north corner there.
Yeah, and also the North Tropical Coast, and also the southern Darling Towns. But you're right, most of the state's looking pretty dry today. Okay, New South Wales, showers and storms in the north, most likely on the northern ranges where they should be severe. And we've got chance of early showers for the central coastal districts. So Wollongong, Sydney, Newcastle, clearing shower, that kind of forecast. Victoria today, not much happening. Early fog, clearing, then warm and partly cloudy. 27 in Melbourne is one above average for this time of year. Tasmania, partly cloudy but dry across the state. Temperatures are close to normal. For South Australia, there's cloudy conditions through the state with the chance of showers and storms in the west of the state. But for central areas, including Adelaide, not expecting that rain. That's a few degrees warmer than yesterday. WA, we've got showers and storms through the eastern 2/3 roughly. So Esperance through Kalgoorlie, Lenora up towards Port Hedland. Dry for the west coast, cooler than yesterday with a southerly. Heavy rain for the northwest Kimberley and storms across the central and the northern NT. And Sam, it looks like you've found some more information on the frozen alligator.
Yeah, it says
Good
here
research.
that the video from North Carolina shows alligators, despite their small brains, are capable of amazing survival tactics.
Wow. Okay, so maybe
So that alligator, that video has gone viral, and he's still alive.
Alfred the alligator's going to make it.
According to the zookeeper there, the alligators go into a state of dormancy.
Wow. Well, they've been around for 200 million years, is it? Longer than the dinosaurs? Now
That
we
is
know why.
absolutely incredible. Okay, stay tuned. Our next 2-minute briefing will be at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. I'll be up shortly with another live weather update, recapping those thunderstorms in New South Wales.